Hey there. In the previous video, we talked about what motions are and how to raise motions for all types of parliamentary procedures. We also learned that some motions can be directly passed by the chair's discretion. Now, we will learn about the third and special kind of motions. Usually, the motions for parliamentary procedures are raised when the chair calls for them, but the motions we'll talk about now are raised by a delegate whenever deemed necessary in the committee. Once a delegate raises one of these special motions, typically other delegates who also want this motion to be passed will second the motion. But what does it mean to second a motion? To second a motion means to support the motion being raised in the committee. It shows that you agree with it and want to talk about it more. Usually, another person needs to agree or second before the motion can be discussed. Seconding a motion doesn't always mean you fully agree with it, but it allows everyone to talk about it and vote on it. In general, for the special motions we'll be discussing now, the chair will look for seconds to directly pass the motion. Some delegates choose to object a motion, meaning they express their dissatisfaction or disagreement for the motion to be discussed. When the committee encounters an objection, the motion is voted upon by all the delegates without abstaining. We have 4 of these special motions. Let's discuss them one by one. Firstly, there's the motion to extend points of information. This should be quite self-explanatory. After all delegates picked by the chair have asked their POIs to the speaker, if another delegate that hasn't been picked by the chair wishes to ask a POI, they might raise a motion to extend points of information. Remember, if you've already asked a POI to the current speaker and you wish to ask another one, you may not raise a motion to extend points of information. If this motion is seconded and gets passed, the speaker answers a couple more POIs before yielding their floor back to the chair. Watch this video clip to understand how this motion works.
This resolution to address the issue of usage and diminution of biological weapons is a very practical one and can be implemented in every country in the world. We delegates have combined in order to put in as much of practical solutions, and I ask all the delegates in the committee to vote for this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Is the delegate open to any points of information?
Any and all points of information.
Seeing that the delegate has opened themselves to any and all points of information, if there are any such points to be made, please raise your hands now. The delegate of Burundi and Brazil, you have been recognized in that order.
So does the delegate of India believe that this resolution contains the sustainable information which is needed to address the issue at hand?
Yes, delegate. This delegate believes that there are enough information to have sustainable impact on this in order to reduce this issue that exists today. Does the delegate believe that the second operative clause can be implied in all countries? Yes, delegate. The second operative clause can be applied in any all countries in the world. Countries can implement it at ease.
Motion to extend points of information.
Second.
That's an order, delegate. Those who wish to ask any points of information may raise their hands now. The delegate of China, you have been recognized.
Delegate, where do you think you get funding for the solution?
From the World Bank and the International Monetary Funds, and even the highly developed countries can help, as I mentioned before, investment.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, delegate. How would the delegate like to yield their time?
Back to the chair.
Second on the list is the motion to approach the head table. Remember, the head table is the one where the chairs are seated. If the delegate would like to approach the chairs for clarification of content or procedure, they may raise their placard when the floor has been yielded to the chair. If the chair finds this appropriate, the delegate may approach the table and speak with the chair. This motion does not have to be seconded by the House. Motion to approach the head table is basically a way to get your doubts personally clarified by the chair. Up next, we have the most often used motion to move into the previous question. If whatever is being debated appears redundant or pointless to entertain, a delegate can call out this motion with their placard raised. This is the delegate's way of stating that the House should move on directly into voting procedure on either the amendment or the resolution as a whole. At least one other delegate must second this motion. If someone disagrees, just one objection is enough to overrule the motion. If there are no objections, the chair can move into voting procedures unless they wish to prolong debate time. The name of this motion can be a little misleading because we are actually moving into the next question, that is the question of voting, and not the previous question. And finally, there's the motion to divide the House. This motion is used after voting has taken place on a resolution, but only if the resolution has failed, with a small difference in the number of votes for and against. Anyone can call this motion, and when called, the chair will initiate a re-vote on the resolution. During the re-vote, delegates will not be permitted to abstain. The idea of the motion to divide the House is a simple logic that when the number of abstentions in the first voting is converted into 4 votes in the second voting, there is a chance that the resolution might pass. Here's an example of a scenario where this motion will likely be called upon. A resolution is faced with 13 votes for, 15 votes against, and 6 abstentions. Naturally, this resolution fails. But after a motion to divide the House is invoked, the result of the re-vote is that the resolution faces 18 votes for and 16 votes against. Now, the resolution passes. Look at the difference that a few abstentions can make. Instead of normally calling out all those in favor and all those against, the chair, while conducting a re-vote, will call out delegates alphabetically and expect to hear their stance on the resolution, that is, for or against, much like while doing a roll call. And with that, we've learned everything there is about points and motions. Use them wisely to stand out as the most opinionated, diplomatic, and knowledgeable delegate in the committee. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in another video.